Hello, my friends. My name is Jen, and welcome to the Book Refuge. All right, today I'm so excited to be bringing you these recommendations. I don't think that I've made this as an oddly specific one before. I'd have to double check and see if I did, but this is something I love seeing in romance books. I absolutely love finding implements for pleasure. I'm going to be careful about the words I use in the very beginning of the video because I don't want this to get censored. Sometimes I need to be careful about when I jump into that. But I don't know whether I'm going to call this one taboo or oddly specific because I want to think that it's not taboo, but I feel like sometimes it is, or it has been in the recent past, because I feel like for me, with a lot of these books that I'm looking at, that this type of stuff only showed up in erotic romance, and you didn't really see it in the more mainstream ones. And granted, I mean, all the books in front of me, okay, minus one of them, are indie books, obviously, but I don't know, there's just something about it for me where I love seeing this stuff incorporated when it doesn't have to be erotic, when they're just being brought in, when it's, you know, not only just a woman taking care of herself, but they're just brought in as part of the play because it enhances things. Sometimes people need more help getting there than just stimulation from their partner, and though in a lot of romance novels that is just how it is, they're just perfectly in sync, that all just works, which, I mean, I'm fine reading that. I'm not saying that I'm against it, but I think that we, do a disservice and we make it to the point where I would feel like making this a taboo video, even though, I mean, in my opinion, I'm way more often having toys than having a man do it, right? And I think that smart men know that, your toys are partners. They're not competition. That gets put in a few romance novels, and I love when I hear it, that they're tools, not competition. Why wouldn't we do that? And a type of scene I absolutely adore is when a hero will be like, show me how you pleasure yourself using a toy, and then a hero can learn from that. That's a good man, in my opinion. So I actually have some that are all across the board in this. Like I said, I do have a traditionally published book in here, which we'll get to. I have monster romances. I have a fan fiction. And yeah, I have some all across the board. So let's get into it. The first one I want to mention that really kind of sparked me doing this video, although I will also say this was a recommended topic. If you don't know, I do have a video recommendation form. You can request a video. I do want to clarify with those. So I get a lot of the recs in there. I love it. I check that weekly or bi-weekly whenever I'm needing to plan videos. I go to see which recs you guys are looking for. People will just say, make a chatty video, or do a chatty video, or do more age gap recs. Well, the thing is, it's I'm looking for more specific topics. If there's a specific topic you would like me to speak about, put that in a form. Don't just say, do a book haul. I'm glad you love book hauls, but I'm always going to do a book haul. I'm always going to be doing age gap recommendations. If you have very specific stuff, like someone who asked for, please give me one where sex toys are used. Or someone who did a very specific one once was, give me a book with breeding kink, but where they're not actually trying to have a baby, which I was like, girl, that's going to take me a while. So sometimes the topics are so specific that I need to wait. I am still working on wanting to do a sounding rec video. I would really like to do one of those. But number one, finding recommendations with it is one thing. And number two, finding books for me to read that then I actually want to recommend to you, because that's kind of my rule, right? I only want to recommend books that I've given at least a 3.5 or higher. And unfortunately for that particular one, I've read a lot of bad books with sounding in it, so I'm waiting for more. Anyway, that was a side tangent. I'm so sorry to do that. But I just wanted to explain a little bit about, because I also see sometimes where I can tell it's the same person that every little bit they're putting the same video topic in, and maybe not realizing that, well, number one, yes, I won't get to every video topic that's put in. I have over 200 in there and it grows all the time. But also I have to feel like I have enough to bring to the conversation. If I'm going to do a chatty video, I have to feel like I have enough recommendations to share, and that it's the right time to make the video. Because sometimes, you know, someone asks for a monster rec video and I'm like, that's going to go over better in the fall. Because I just know people are looking for monster books in the fall, right? Okay, I will have put a timestamp up, and I'm telling myself right now, by looking at the time when I'll need to put it, let's get into the recommendations. So, as I said, there was one particular book that really pushed me over the edge into making this video, but it was a viewer recommendation. There we go. We came back around to it, that I've been waiting to do. And then when I read Berries and Greed by Lily Mayne, I was like, you know what? Now's the time to do this one, because I think I've read a lot of videos recently that have it. And when I do my weekly wrap-ups, you all know I have a spreadsheet. And on that spreadsheet, I put all of the like oddly specific things or things I come across, so that when I'm building these videos, I can control F and I can find them. And sure enough, I have read quite a few books this year and then in recent years that have sex toys. Okay, so this book, as I said, was Berries and Greed, and this one just released at the end of June. This is not a debut book. This is the start of a new series by Lily Mayne, and this first one is MF. It does have BDSM, and it is a monster who, his breed of monster is normally very aggressive, and the males and females of his, you know, species have very aggressive sex together. And so he has recently come out of a unsuccessful relationship where he was not considered dominant enough, and he felt very emasculated and vulnerable after being kind of like rejected by his partner because he wasn't living up to what they wanted him to be, which was very hard for him. And then we have our heroine, Beryl, who she has been living with a cult for many years. She's actually 35, and there comes this opportunity for them to be roommates. I won't go into all the details of that because it's supposed to be a quicker video, and I already wasted 5 minutes ranting about how I make these. But they end up living together, and through the living together, they, number one, of course, are both become really attracted to each other, and number two, start to notice that they might have complementary wants, and so that leads into them having a relationship, which toys are a big part of it. Number one, just because Lily Mayne kind of does include toys when she can in some of hers. But also, our heroine has vaginismus. I don't know if I pronounced that right, I'm sorry. But it does have to do with, it is not all psychological. It is a physical response to, let's just say, rejecting things being put into her. And she has had unsuccessful relationships previously where people thought if they got her hot enough or if she liked them enough, she would like to be penetrated. And she just really doesn't. She likes toys on the outside, she likes other ways, but she does not want penetration. However, our hero would very much like to be penetrated. So you can see where we're going with this. There is cock sleeves used in this. There is butt plugs used in this. There are bindings and other BDSM things used in this, but I will say it is done in the characteristic, very sweet Lily Mayne way, where this heroine is a very soft femdom. Like, she wants to dominate in bed and help him, you know, give up control to her and help him have what he wants, and she likes being dominating, but it isn't like dominatrix, all right? Like, it isn't like that. And so I very much loved this romance so much. So then I also want to recommend Unfurl by Elodie Hart. I just read this one recently. Last month it was the Patreon pick, so I read and annotated this one, and this one is about a sex club, and particularly a specific program at this sex club that allows women to lose their virginity to, number one, men who very much get off on helping women lose their virginity, but also helping them have extreme pleasure when doing so. And yeah, there are toys involved in this one. The relationship was this good Catholic girl. She's been brought up that way. And there's a new neighbor at her home who owns this club. And they both have an attraction to each other right away. And a little bit over the top, one of my critiques of this book in the beginning was he sees her and he's already imagining her on his knees. And I just thought it was a little bit cliche of the situation. I was like, okay, that's a bit much. But I did love some of the commentary that it had by the end, even though it was a little bit heavy hitting with the Catholicism bashing. From the author's note, that is a journey she needed to take for her person. And you know what? As an artist, as an author, I think that's her right to get to do it. And as long as you read it knowing that that's going to be in there. So yeah. All right, let's get into the ones I own, because I have physical copies of a lot of these, because like I said, I really, really love a lot of these. So we have Found by the Lake Monster by Lillian Lark. This one's shiny. This one's just a little shorty. This is a part of her Bathhouse Monster series. Specifically some of the like quick ones that she has, because there are full-length novels in this, and then there are these short ones. So this one is about Adrian, who's a lake monster, and he's faced with possibly his last heat. So it's basically like he's about to go through the lake monster version of menopause. He is reaching his last chance to hopefully have a baby, and so he goes to the bathhouse, which there is a witch who is a matchmaker, and he asks to be matched. And a woman stumbles into his forest that he's going to mate with. The only thing is it the right woman that he's about to meet? So this one was so sweet. I love this. This one has copious amounts of liquids. And there is also some toys used in this one. Obviously, I'm going to say that about all of them. Quick little fun one. Then we have a recent read of mine, The Alias by Lena Hendricks. This one is a marriage of convenience. We are hiding from our enemies. Redemption Ranch, this is book 2 in the series. You can read them out of order if you want to, but you maybe should start with the badge. You maybe should start with it. But in this small town, in this ranch that is completely made up of both federal agents and then the people who are in protection. This is a protection agency set up in Montana. And while they are having this marriage of convenience, the heroine is very turned on by her husband, but she doesn't want him to feel pressured to be with her. She knows this is a marriage of convenience. And in this small town, there aren't many stores you can go to for things. And there is this one gentleman who owns a store that has a section that has some toys in it. And she buys some that she is using. And there is a really hot scene where, like, the hero overhears her, and it's really hot. So I really, really love this series. I can't wait to read more Lena Hendricks. I just love her. All right, then we have Eyes on Me by Sarah Kate. Now, a lot of books in the series, in fact, all of them in this series use sex toys, but I realized that I haven't talked about this one too much. Now, I really, really enjoyed this book. I found it very emotional. Garrett's journey was very emotional for me to read. This was not perfect. I know it's a lot of people's least favorite. And when I look at them all, I mean, well, Highest Bidder was actually my least favorite. I won't talk about that. Highest Bidder was actually my least favorite. But I just love some of the other ones so much more that I think this one gets shoved down my list. But I wanted to bring this one up because this one involves both toys that the heroine will like use on herself because she's a cam girl, and then there is some scenes where the hero is having some stuff used on him, and I really liked those. Like, no joke, really like that stuff. So yeah, this one is a stepbrother romance. Honestly, I think he's about a decade older than her, and he's one of the 4 owners of the Salacious Players Club. He is a voyeur. This one is a voyeuristic hero. And he discovers a cam girl, and it's his stepsister. And so supposedly him and Mia can't stand each other, but really it's because they're very, very attracted to each other. So yeah, this one, I mean, it's still Sarah Kate. It's still really good. I understand why it's not some people's like favorite one, because there's some in this series that are just over the top, but I also feel like it doesn't get as much respect as it deserves, because I think it deals with some interesting stuff. I really liked how it looked at sex work for Mia in this one. This book is also going to come up in another video I'm about to do, and I just really appreciated that about it. Sarah Kate takes on the great topics. All right, then we have one of my favorite fan fictions of all time is Contradictions by Ampersand. Yes, people will say every time, oh, Jen, your binding's so beautiful. Yes, I know. My friend Mel made it for me. This is actually one of the multiple covers that she's done for it. Here's the underside of it. We actually have a fanfiction readathon coming up on July 11th. I don't know when this video is going up, or July 10th, but I am always in a mood for fanfiction, like no joke. I'm obsessed. So this one is a Dramini fanfic, if you can't tell from the cover. This one is Hermione is broken up with Ron. She's feeling pretty broken and like she can't find pleasure. Like she thinks she's broken sexually, basically. And so being the Hermione that she is, she does some research and she discovers that maybe BDSM could be good for me. Maybe being bossed around or being paired with someone who knows how to elicit pleasure could be right for me. And so she looks into this company that will pair her with someone, and she ends up getting paired with Draco Malfoy, though at first she doesn't know that until she's already come all over his fingers and then realizes who did that to her. So she's a bit hesitant, shall we say, after that. But then he explains BDSM to her in a way that she couldn't quite get from her research, and he agrees to continue to see her. Now, she does fight him quite a bit. She's very much a brat in this one, and that leads to an amazing scene where Draco is torturing her with a magical dildo. And now this magical dildo, because, like, here's the thing, too. I've read a lot of fan fiction at this point. This is still my favorite use of sex toys that are magical. Like, also in Safe Word is Devil Snare, Neville does some cool stuff in that one. But this dildo can change size, change speeds, and do just, like, things that a normal dildo cannot. And he edges her for a very long time with this toy. And it's amazing. It's a punishment for Hermione, but it was a punishment for me. Because not only did she kind of deserve it, but it teaches her a lesson in the way in BDSM that you should. Not in an abusive way, in a consensual situation. Then we have one that is actually a Christmas novel. This is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I actually really enjoyed this. I was lucky enough to get an audio arc of this one. And my friend Amanda actually went to a book signing of this and so got this personalized to me from Julie and Sierra, and it's so cute. This is Sierra Simone's signature. If you've never seen it, she does that. It's so cool. But this one is actually about a heroine who is a plus size adult entertainer, and she wants to kind of break into the legitimate acting realm. And she, like, the director that she worked for before, he ends up like getting her a job in this, but he's like very nervous because this is working with this wholesome company that is kind of like the Hallmark Channel, very wholesome. And if they found out that their lead actress was an adult porn star, things could go very badly for them. But then, so she gets to this town, and the lead across from her is her crush, because he was in a boy band when she was young, and now he's like doing these acting things, because he kind of ruined his reputation. The band got destroyed and things didn't go so well, and he needs to rebuild his reputation. But the thing is, so he needs this movie to go well too. But the thing is, he's actually one of her like patrons, which we'll call it patrons. It's called something else in here. It's not called, OF or any of that stuff like it is, but that's basically what it is. So he has paid to watch her for quite a while now. So they both have this mutual stardom going on. And they're also both bisexual. So this means there are some fun toys that are used on both him and her in this one. And the heroine, like, there's actually a funny scene in the beginning where she's trying to pick which toys to bring with her while she is making this movie. So yeah, Sierra Simone is always very sex positive. This is the first thing I've read from Julie Murphy, but I know that she is too. And if you're looking to do some Christmassy stuff soon, I actually want to make a video that's like Christmas recs in the summertime. I've always wanted to do that. And I do have quite a few Christmas novels kind of like stacked up. But anyway, highly recommend this one as well. It was a really fun time. The audiobook was really good. And I mean, this was a cute story. Look, there's even a little map inside. This was a fun time. All right, then we have Teach Me by LL Ash. This one is, it's part of a series, but they were both like standalone. So this one is a like professor and like student teacher relationship. So it isn't really a taboo age gap. Well, it's a pretty big age gap, but she's also 23 or something. So it's not like super inappropriate, and they're more like co-workers. So still a little bit of forbidden aspect in there. He's a divorced father of two. He's actually has a really good relationship with his ex-wife. I mean, he gets a little exasperated by her, but it's also funny because his ex-wife is dating a man who's like younger than this girl. So there's really no like backlash. There's more like teasing. They're like, oh, so you fell for a younger person too. You can stop teasing me, which is cute. But this hero very much falls for the intelligence of the heroine before he falls for her physically. So while I wouldn't call this like a slow burn, because we do get to the point of them being together like right before 50%, but they are taking their time. It's just that the author doesn't make us sit through it agonizing. Does that make sense? Like, they don't just rush and hop into bed with each other. They're spending a lot of time working together and like building their connections and everything. But because the author like speeds time up a little bit, we get to them dealing with their relationship sooner. So, and from what Goodreads tells me, this one has some toys in it. Now, I don't specifically remember those scenes, but I know that they were in here. And I love this novel anyway. So there we go. All right. Now, the scene I definitely do remember in Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. Yes, I'm showing off my beautiful foiled edition that I got at Book Bonanza. I'm obsessed with this. Here's the undercover. So this one is a nanny-ish romance. She actually starts as a like riding lesson instructor for this hero's daughter. And he is this billionaire. He's moved back to this small town to like find sanctuary from some darker things in his life. His daughter is pretty traumatized and has maybe some mental divergence, maybe some like hang-ups going on, and horses are going to help her. And so our heroine Paisley gets hired to be her riding instructor, and then kind of transitions into like being a nanny when the current nanny is just not working for the little girl, and the little girl really attaches to Paisley. And so then our hero, though he, you know, they get up on the wrong foot. This is that type of scenario where like they meet and they get up on the wrong foot. He is like very like drawn to her, and that's a lot of his like tension is like, no, I don't want her to be around more. But he sees how she is with his daughter, and he is like, no, you're good for her, so I need to get over myself so that this can work. And I appreciate a hero who can do that. And there is a scene in this one where I think he uses her toys on her, or like she's using it and he comes in. I can't quite remember, but I know there was a really good scene with that in this one. And again, just look at this. I love it. She is someone who does the absolute most with her like special covers and with having sexy covers as well. Like, I love that this is a hardcover with her discreet cover on top and the couple underneath. Like, I wish more authors could do that. I know they all can't, but I love that A.L. Jackson does. And then the last one I want to mention, and this is another series where I could mention every book in the series because they all have toys used to some degree, because this is another like sex club series. The Sea Witch by Katie Robert. Yes, this is a beautiful cover. This isn't a special edition cover. You can buy this on Amazon. People ask all the time, oh my god, where'd you get it? You can buy it on Amazon. This was originally her Kickstarter, but then she had it offered for everybody. It's absolutely gorgeous. I know. It's delightful. And this one is a FFM. It is one of the few FFMs I've read, and I actually absolutely loved it. I really, really did. This one is Ursa, and she wants to get revenge against, I think Zuriel is her name in here. It's been a little hot minute. Let me see. Yeah, Zuriel. And she's using, is it Alaric? See, now I'm forgetting all the names because we've changed them a little bit. Wants to get revenge And so she uses kind of Alaric to like lure her in. But the thing is like Zuriel is also very attracted to Ursa. And so now her feelings she had for Alaric are turning to hatred because she's so upset that he tricked her. But she also kind of understands why Ursa wants revenge. And so Ursa now like wants her pets to play nice with each other. And boy, do they. So there is a super hot scene in here because Ursa is known for her octopus dildos that she has. There is a hot scene where she is pegging Eric and Eric is fucking Zuriel, and it is hot, okay? It's hot. So yeah, again, this whole series by Katie Robert has sex toys. It also explores BDSM beautifully with just, you know, sprinklings of plot throughout it, right? So absolutely love. This series did so much. It really, really did. This series was amazing. So there you go. Those are some of my recent recommendations with sex toys in them. Let me know some of your favorites. I know there are a ton of these. Like I said, they come up fairly often in, I can't talk, in indie romance, but I want to see more. I think they could be used even more than they are, and it doesn't always have to be in a BDSM scenario or some over the top. It can just be like, we just brought out a toy to make it more fun, or we like did this or whatever. So I love that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Make sure you like this video, comment either one of the ones I mentioned that's your favorite or whatever to help me in the algorithm. I don't talk about that too much, but it is very important. YouTube gets really stingy with stuff, and I was talking about a lot of things that could make this more taboo. So please make sure to like and share if you enjoyed what you got. So thank you so much for watching. All these recommendations will be listed down below if you'd like to purchase them from Amazon. That definitely helps out the channel as well. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.